Great crowd here tonight with the gear, a little different. So, yay for being different and having a good turnout. That's pretty awesome, a little different. It's been a good night tonight, a lot of good bands. We're really stoked. Ask you to please stick around a little while longer. There's two more bands and another spoken word. And I want to introduce my friend Daniel. He's a guy that I love very much, and I'm really stoked he's doing this. He's been a dear brother to myself, and I know plenty of people here in the house tonight, so stick around for a second for Daniel, Pensive Sky, and Forever at Last, and just have a good night. Enjoy yourself. If you need a chair, I noticed this earlier. If for some reason you're tired of standing, come see me or someone at the soundboard or concession stand. We have a big stack of chairs over here, and one of us will get you one down if you want to sit. We know it's cramped. It's cool. It's a good problem. It's cramped because there's a lot of people here. That's awesome. But if you need a chair, let us know, and stick around for everybody else. We're glad you're here. Here's my dear friend Daniel. Put it up for him.
Omnipresence. A $20 word to say that you are like the breath in my lungs, like the space that we swim in, like the Arctic wind that brushes through our hair and leaves blushed burns on our cheeks and noses if we stay out too long. But if that's true, then I think I have a few questions to ask. You see, that's almost something I don't want to believe. I like to think myself an optimist, that I think the best of people. So I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt, because maybe you don't realize the gravity of your claim. If everywhere I look is your name, then there's nowhere you're not. And that's a serious accusation. So I think I'll keep believing in cessation rather than sitting and waiting for you to pull through. But I guess I can't believe that. Though the weight of the declaration is heavy, I have no other option. Because I've seen you too many times in unexpected places. As you rustle through the leaves, I see your face. The man on the street corner with the sign saying, God bless the people, the hope in the eyes of the broken, hated native people with nothing left but you. In the hymn of the flood victim and the prayer of the farmer with not much left after the drought. Yes, you surprise me. But if that's true, and you are like the rain that falls and cannot be kept out, then I've got some questions. Because if you're everywhere, that means you were there in his last moments. And I don't know if I'm okay with that, but I don't know if that matters. However, it leaves me with some questions. If you were you there in his last breath when he said goodbye to the world? Were you there in his finger as it curled around the tiny metal trigger that moved other tiny metal parts that had resounding consequences? Were you there screaming at the top of your lungs, no, please don't? Or had you hung your head and said, not my will, but yours be done? You see, I'm not here to accuse. And I'm not here to refuse you the right to say that you are good. But if you're good, then I've got some questions. And I can't seem to stop asking. The faith I once thought to be unshakable, immovable, instilled in me from the time I first met you is wavering more than I'd like to admit. And if you're there, and if you're here, I need you to wrap me up in your embrace just like you used to, like a warm blanket on a freezing fall day, because I'm shaking like a tree. I'm trying to hold on to faith like a falling man grasps for roots, hoping to find something to cling to. The truth is, I want to trust that yours are higher than my ways. And I want to believe in you as the Ancient of Days. And I want to stand on the mountains and scream your praise. But the only song I can push from these faithless lips is, oh God, where are you now? Oh God, hold me now. But at least I'm still singing. I started writing that poem recently. One of my best friends from high school killed himself. And I didn't know what to do with it. And a lot of my upbringing and a lot of the things that I knew about God said, okay, you just need to push this down and get over it. But I knew that's not the way it works. And I came to this beautiful realization, and it's the message, more or less, one of the messages that I want to get out with that poem, is that God is big enough. If God is as big as we say He is, and we claim He is, He's big enough to stand up to your questions. And He's bigger than your doubts. And it's okay to ask. The truth of God is not changed by you not being sure about it. Well, I used to hear that Christ was the anchor for my soul, and I'd get all tingly feeling with bumps on my arms and the nape of my neck. But I never really thought about what that truly meant, about what an anchor was or what it was made to do. Recently, I've been realizing the function, form, and fashion of an anchor. In a ship, the captain drops it, and it sinks to the bottom where it hooks on to something and keeps the wayward vessel from wandering in those open seas. Which I guess sounds great. But what happens in the face of a storm? When it feels like a ship is falling apart, the wise captain will order that the anchor be dropped. And that's where the bumps on my neck begin to fade away. When the hurricane winds are blowing and the waves are crashing too high, obscuring my vision of the lighthouse and my life hope, and I'm certain that all of my planks are about to be torn away piece by piece, you are still my anchor. You sink into my depths and fasten yourself in, keeping me from wandering away on those open seas, though I'd much rather you be my rudder or maybe my sail to take me far away from these troubled waters as quickly as possible. Instead, you hold me still, steadfast in the storm, and I'm not sure if I like it. But at least with you as my anchor, I can hear one truth through the noise of the raging seas, that when all is said and done, that at least I'll come out on the other side, all in one piece. He's coming back for a spotless bride without stain, wrinkle, or any other blemish. But when I look in the mirror, I feel I've missed it. As I look at just another sinner saved by grace, but evidently that grace wasn't big enough to save me from the sin that constantly has me by the throat. I watch as I rush into every opportunity for iniquity, and as I bow down to every appearance of inequity. And sometimes it would surprise me if I learned that your fury was still in hot pursuit of my soul. But I find that despite my best efforts, your heart pursues mine. Like the sun chases after the moon and will not let up until that day when the King of the sky, you, becomes one with the ruler of the night. Me, yes, you pursue me. Even when I throw up my fists and let you know that if you come one step closer, you'll never see me again. But you run after me all the same. And I think that now I'm ready to take down these haymakers. See, all my life, I've been fighting. If it's not one thing, it's another. First, fighting against you, tooth and nail. Not wanting someone else to lead me, preferring the freedom to make my own choices and choose to live a life of dying. But still, you came after me and ensured that the minute I turned around to see what was behind me, you would be there, ready to wrap me up and wipe away the fears and regrets. So you took me in and started to clean me up. Alcohol swabs on my blood-drenched knuckles amp up the pain but keep away the infection. But even as we sit there at your kitchen table with the proverbial steak on my shiner, someone kicks in the front door. Seemingly strapped to a T, armed with shame and hatred, with both barrels pointing at me, one dead center on my heart and one on my head. But you sit there, still and contented, like the battle had already ended. So I figured this one was mine to fight. I spring up again, running headlong into a battle I was designed to lose. I throw in all I have all the same, because I'm convinced this is life or death. As I fight, I grow weary, because this adversary is worse than the other, because he's not as gentle. I look up at the kitchen table through eyes already half swollen to see the same quaint expression, and it draws my fury. I cry out through the broken teeth and bloody, bruised, and bulging lips. Why do you just sit there? Why don't you come fight beside me? To which I hear an echoing reply of, I already did. You hit pause on the battle I'm dying in and rewind to a time where I see a man, eyes half swollen, screaming out through broken teeth and bloody, bruised, and bulging lips, the victory is mine! I will avenge! Fast forward to a time when I stand and watch as the simple breath from your nostrils breaks my opponent's spine. I may not be good at fighting, but I'm glad to see I don't need to. He's coming back for a spotless bride, without stain, wrinkle, or any other blemish. I'm glad to know now that that's not all up to me.